So let's move on to the second half of the alphabet then. We've finished with M, the last letter of the first half of the alphabet. So now we move on to the N. So our longhand N will look like this. Our shorthand N is this bit. It's not the upstanding, but it starts there and it goes down and round. And it's straight. This part is straight. So it's almost like a hook. Like so. So that's N. Now, N is a teenager. It's only half height. Because if I'd written an H, for example, a longhand H, that's an adult because it's tall. And this is only half the size. So it's a teenager, not too tall. Next is O. Now, as I said to you last time, all the vowels are babies. So the O is very tiny. So if I do a longhand O, it's just a circle, of course, and we're going to use that little bit from underneath. So it's like a little saucer. It's very tiny. If you make it too long, it will look like a W, which we're going to come on to later. So make sure it's small. It's a baby. And then P. So if our longhand P is like so, if you remember, all letters that cut the line in longhand also cut the line in Teeline. So we're going to use this part. So it will go through the line. And then it's a P. So we've got three like we did before. Just practice them. N, O, P. N, O, P. Making sure that the sizes are right. Again, just like we had with ABC last week, we've got the three sizes here. We've got the teenager, the baby and the adult. So make sure that when you've practiced them, they look proportionate in size. Next one is Q. If I write the word Q in longhand, it will look like this. And our T-line Q is this loop there. So it cuts the line and it's an adult because it's nice and tall, cuts the line. Next one is R. R is unique because it's the only letter that's written in an upwards direction. So you start on the line and you write it upwards, R. And the next one is S. Now, S is a circle, like our longhand O. Now it's an adult. Rose. If Rose comes and stands by me, you'll realise that some adults are shorter than others. So, you can see Rose is a lot taller than me, and S, we'll call her Susan in the Teeline family. She's not grown as tall as some of the adults, just like me. So S is the circle, but it's not as tall as the other adults. So now we've got the next three, which is Q, R written upwards, S. So let's put those six together. So we've got N, O, P, Q, R, S. There's six. And the next one is T, and we mentioned that last week. Again, unique like the R, because it's the only one that's written above the line, that person who's elevated. So we'll call him Tommy. He thinks himself a cut above the others. So he's the only one on the line, and that's where the system gets its name, T-line. So if in the future we mention this goes on the T-line, what we mean is it goes above the line. U is a baby, because it's a vowel, and it's a little horseshoe. It starts at the top, goes down to the line and up to the top, but it doesn't quite close. So it's like a horseshoe. Don't make it too sloppy, otherwise it'll look like other letters. And V is easy because it's the same as our longhand V, a bit like C, and it's a teenager because it's only half height. So far we've done N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. Only four left and we're there. W is, in longhand, W is an upside down M, and it is in T-line as well. So last week we learned that M is that, so the W is this, upside down. Now, these horizontal strokes are lazy teenagers, so they can be sent upstairs or on the T-line. So let me demonstrate what I mean. If we had a word like well, W-E-L-L or will, instead of doing this, W-L, putting the W on the line, we would prefer to have the W on the T line so that the L could go on the line. So if we changed it, say, to the word whelp, the dog is in whelp, then the whole outline is closer to the line of writing than if we'd started with the W on the line. So lazy teenagers can be sent upstairs to their room. They can go on the T line. So that was just an aside. I'll just rub that one off for the time being because we're going to come on to joining letters very shortly. So we've only got X, Y, Z, and X is exactly the same as our longhand X. Now, we normally would go down, down, I think, but in T-line, try to get to the habit of going down, up. And the reason for this is because as we write it upwards, we're ready, placed for the next outline. Remember, in shorthand, we're talking about fractions of a second. So if I did them both down, 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 my hand has then got to travel over here for the next outline. So down, up. Next one is Y. It's the top half of a longhand Y. Now, Y is a tail letter. So if we just extend it through the line slightly, make that stem of the Y slightly extended through the line, that's our T-line Y. And then Z doesn't look like anything at all. It's a circle written in a clockwise direction, small circle with a little comma going through it. People write Z in different ways. Traditionally, of course, the longhand Z is that, but some people will write a Z like so. So all you've got to remember is what the T-line Z looks like, which is the little circle clockwise and the little comma through it. So there's quite a lot there, but we've done the second half of the alphabet, which means that now we can write any word in the alphabet in T-line. But as promised last week, we will only show you words that will never change. Some words will have blends, which we'll explain as the course goes on. So if there's a word that employs a blend, we won't show you that one. We'll only show you the words that will never change. So first of all, let's summarise this half of the alphabet. And as before, as I said to you last week, if you keep practicing and drilling, make sure that the sizes are correct. That's the most important thing, that you've got your babies, which are your vowels, your teenagers, which are your half height strokes, and your adults, which are your full height strokes. So let's do the second half of the alphabet summary. We've got N, teenager, O, baby, because it's a vowel, P through the line, Q, that loop, R, the only stroke that's written upwards, S, the adult that's not grown as tall as some adults, T, the only stroke that's written on the T line or above the line, U, it's another vowel, so it's tiny, little horseshoe, S-T-U, V, teenager, only half the height, same height as the N, W, lazy teenager, X, down and up, Y, let it cut the line slightly, and Z, clockwise and the little curl. Practice those over and over again and then ask someone to read them to you, mix them up and go at a speed that suits you. If the reader is going too slowly, try and write 2 or 3 of that particular consonant or vowel before they move on to the next one. So now the whole of the alphabet then, we've got A, B, C, D, E, 2 forms of F, remember, from last week. G cuts the line, H, I, baby, both bits have to be sloped. J, K, teenager, 2 forms of L, curly L, bracketed L, M, then the second half we've done now, N, O, P, Q, R, the only one that goes upwards, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.